something there. So when we arrived here, we missed a lot of time at the immigration. So something that I learned: do not miss time there, because you are going to miss your flight when you are in the immigration. And then arriving here, we need to learn how to walk here in this campus, because it's a very big campus and very difficult to understand, even having a map like this one. But the tour guide helped us a lot, the walking and seeing everything. And the means of transportation. If you are here and you do not have a car, man, what a problem, you are in trouble, you know. But we need to learn how to use the bus, how to use the train, and always the subway. And I learned this here, how to use the time. And another thing that I learned is being part of a mixed group. We are 40 teachers from all over Brazil, and we are learning a lot about accents, about things that we do and in one city and we don't do in another city. Also, like different cultures. Here in UCI we have people from Japan, Korea, Mexico, from whatever, Arabia, and then we learned a lot with their culture, their behavior, the way they behave. It was very interesting to study with them. And also with the UCI teachers, I learned a lot about working in groups, working pairs, new technologies and new techniques to use in school when I come back. You know, talking about UCI teachers, not only UCI teachers, Japanese teachers. You can see that it's not a Japanese teacher. She's my classmate. But I learned a lot with the Japanese teachers. What they face, the problem they face, the same problem they face, because they are TFL teachers just as us. And talking about the UCI teachers, having someone that I learned about the idioms. It was really interesting learning idioms and the meaning of the idioms. And also the TED Talks, something that I had never learned about, TED Talks. Mitra was someone who taught me about how to write better, improve my writing, and not only in English, but in Portuguese. I will do it to my students to improve the writing. How do they write? Can they do to write better? And with Rachel, I learned a lot of speaking and reading. How to see that if our students are reading or not, if they are really understanding, and how to evaluate the reading. With you, Roger, I learned how to use new technologies like the wireless keyboard. It was so interesting to make my students, that I would do with my students, to write when he is in classes with the keyboards. Very, really interesting. And also Meg, she's a really funny and interesting teacher and happy teacher. And I work with kids too. I have 2 mornings working with kids. And it was really interesting to know some techniques that she used with us here. With Joseph Barron, the American school system, now I can say that I really know how the American educational system functions. You know, because it was really something confused to me, and now I understand because I learned with Joseph Barron. With Marla Yoshida, it was interesting because the pronunciation, not only the pronunciation, you know, the complete materials that she used, they were really nice for us to understand how can we pronounce better. And with Bob, it was interesting to listen to music, you know, to use music when teaching English. He also presented us some websites for us to use to search for how to use music in our class. It was really interesting. And last but for sure not least, Chris, a very interesting teacher, a guy that makes the students has a big value, you know, for you to know how the name of the student, to build the knowledge with the student. Very interesting. And the Freedom Rides Award was really cool for me because I work in slums in Rio de Janeiro, I work in dangerous areas, so they taught me something very interesting about writing, about their day by day. That's something that I'm gonna do. So now, the piers, something very interesting for me because in Brazil we don't have these kinds of things, these piers. And this is something that I love, that we can go there to be next to the waves, next to the surfers. You can have fun, you can eat, you can do a lot of things. And also the college basketball, very interesting too, because I've been in 2 NBA games before, but this one was the best one because the students participate in everything, not only playing, but constructing the game, dancing and whatever. And Californian way of life, which was really interesting too, because I've been in the United States for twice or 3 times, but I don't remember. I went to New York, to Orlando, and to Charlotte. And I've always seen big cars and big people, and here you see different things. You see small cars, fancy cars, healthy people, people who have fun all day long, alone or with their family. And it was very interesting to see the Californian way of life. So I've learned a lot of things here.